Okay, so here's another pattern for you. This one I call the Settles Bridge Emerger. Um, I fish an area here. It's actually right around the corner from the house. It's actually really close, and it's one of my favorite places to fish. It's on the Chattahoochee River, the tailwater portion, and it's called the Settles Bridge National Recreation Area. It's federal land. It's actually been set aside. President Jimmy Carter actually set it aside a little while back. Say back when he was president, I guess. And we're very fortunate because it's all considered national park area now, and we we get the fun of actually being able to fish areas all up and down the Chattahoochee that are National Park Service areas. So anyway, so on this fly, basically what I'm starting out with is an emerger type hook. Any type of merger you got. I don't even know who makes this, who this hook's made by. It's a straight eye emerger type hook, and I put a little silver lined glass bead on it. Basically, it's a clear glass bead with a silver lining running through it. I buy a bunch of them. I'm gonna guess it's probably close to 1,000 beads that I actually buy at Hobby Lobby for like $1.99. So it's certainly enough beads to last me a lifetime of fly tying. What I've done is I'm using olive thread. I like the olive because it's kind of my go-to color on the hooch. And what I'm doing is tying on a tail that is amber color Z-Lon to kind of represent a shuck. I'm going to actually pull that back over the hook, the body of the hook, and trim it to basically get something about the length of the hook shank coming off the back. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to tie on this stuff. It's called CDC rope. I like this stuff. This color is olive gray, and it's kind of why I'm using the olive thread, because the olive thread kind of bleeds through on this stuff. I get it from a company called Trout Hunter on the web. And what this does is it's number one, since this is a merger type pattern, it gives the body of my fly a little bit of flotation. Number two, it's basically going to let that olive thread kind of bleed through a little bit on here. So anyway, I'm going to wrap that up, give myself a little bit of a buggy body there. You can see that I've got some CDC coming off there. It's a little bit buggy. Okay, and what I want to do is make sure that my bead can actually slide back over that thread body right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take something that it's called a turkey flat. Okay, it's basically a speckled piece of turkey. Um, and I'm going to tie that on as a wing case. You can see I've got a little bit of a section pulled off there. I'm going to take and I'm going to pull that part of it off, and I'm going to tie it right on my fly as a wing case. Okay, I'm going to go straight across. Oops, I'm still behind the bead, keep in mind. Okay, and snip that off. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of tan ice dub. Okay, UV ice dubbing. Okay, and I'm going to wrap on a little bit of a thorax. Okay, not much. I'm not going to tie on that. I don't use a whole lot of materials on these smaller flies. Okay, and what I'm going to do is tie on that ice dub, give myself a little bit of a body. Okay, then I'm going to pull the bead back and go right over top of that bead. Okay, and go in front of the bead. Okay, now what I've got is a bead that's in the center of my ice dub body, so I'm going to get even more attraction right through there. Okay, and when I pull my thorax across, you're going to see what happens. Now, I'm going to go right now and I'm going to add some legs to the fly. I've got like a natural dun sort of CDC feather. It's this stuff right here. Okay, it's natural CDC. Okay, and I'm gonna take and cut the tip out of the end of that CDC. Okay, if you can see that on the screen, I'm going to cut the tip right out of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and pull these fibers forward. Okay, and I'm going to lay those fibers right over top of the bead. Okay, and I'm going to tie on right there. Okay, this is all this is going to do is give my fly some life, is what it amounts to. Okay, it's not critical that this looks real pretty or anything like that. That's the whole purpose of this, is that we end up with a fly that basically has the key components: legs, thorax, body, so on and so forth. Okay, but it actually ends up with a little bit of life. I'm going to snip that off, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to whip finish this this head. Okay, I normally leave it a little scruffy up on the front. Okay, doesn't really matter what that looks like up there. I just want to make sure that there's nothing interfering with the eye, with my hook eye, because obviously on the water I don't want to mess with that. Okay, now what I've got is basically a fly that has all the key ingredients that I need to basically make make this fly work. Okay, but I'm going to add one more little thing. This is not a critical step by any stretch. Okay, this is simply something that I like to do. You can use epoxy if you want to. I have this stuff called UV, or it's actually called bug bond. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little drop right on top of the thorax, or thorax cover, I should say. Okay, and then I'm going to basically bake it in with my UV light. Okay, and put a little bit of a tractor type bubble on the top of my thorax. Okay, now what I've ended up with is I've got a complete fly. I've got what I call my Settles Bridge Emerger. Let me get my other ones, and I'll see if I can't give you a little bit of a close-up on this. Okay, I've got let me get this tail kind of coming out there the right way. Okay, you can trim that tail up a little bit if you want, and go a little bit shorter. But it actually represents a shuck coming off of there. Okay, I've got some CDC legs that ultimately will, make that fly a little bit boogier. So anyway, this fly works like a champ. See you next time.